the hot streak came to a bit of an end at the weekend. Overall, I'd say we were pretty close to going 500 at this thing. But you know what? We're still in the money. We're still on the plus side of things. We're still winning, and we're still making money for you, for us. We're going to recap everything from last weekend. We're going to look ahead to this weekend, make our picks, chat, start thinking about what you want to put your money on and get involved in for your pick of the week. Let's get at it. Whoa, that's not good. Hang on a minute. Unless you don't want to see us. There we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome into EPL Pitch Picks. We are getting at it for match week 3. Last week was a bit of a come to Jesus moment, boys. No, not quite the come to Jesus moment. It was just kind of a come back down to earth moment. Unfortunately, we're not perfect as much as we maybe liked to think that we are. But no, we didn't do terrible last week, fellas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Ryan
500 give or take.
Well, Ryan and I went 3 and 2 each, 60%. So that's pretty good in the gambling
60%?
world.
Oh, yeah. That's good odds, boys.
Yeah. And I know DeCucci kind of had the Brentford game go his way, but he was having a good weekend up until that point. He really put his chips all in for that game, which it was fun to watch in the moment, but it was a little risky. So yeah, but like I said, Ryan and I had another winning week. We're both back up to we're both 8 and 2 on the season. So it's been a good one so far, and hopefully we can continue to make you guys some money.
Yeah. Ryan, you want to piggyback off that? Anything to add to kind of recap the week that was? Toot your own horn a little bit at going 3 and 2 and staying above the 500 mark.
It was nice. A little disappointed on the 2 L's, but I mean, it's good because it just makes us, grind harder, and it makes us, turn the page and keep going.
Yeah. Take a look at the graphic there, everyone in the chat. Obviously, you guys. So these are the weekly picks, the pick of the week, I should say. I got to change that on the graphic because that looks like we're only making 2 picks each. Yeah, I gotta fix that. Not sure why I didn't catch that before, but anyway, this is a pick of the week graphic. So we've had 2 weeks, 2 picks of the week. This is the graphic for that. Ars Bros Ryan, Doc, 3-point sniper are both at 2-0. Yours truly coming in at 1-1, and the chat coming in at 1-1 as well. So chat, make sure you're kind of perusing the books there, if you will, and start getting your picks of the week flowing so we can start chatting about that. But boys, let's get right into our picks. Ryan, I'm going to start with you. On Saturday, you've got something for me on Everton Bournemouth.
Yes. I think this is like my favorite type of pick. So you're going to see this a lot from me. But everyone talks, soccer, it's so boring. It's always a 0-0 draw. Well, not when you're betting with me. I have Everton, Bournemouth, both teams to score, no draw at plus 145. Everton have shown their weakness is the wings. They attack from the teams that attack them from the wings. They're vulnerable for, and Bournemouth's 2 goals are from both their wingers. So I just think that Bournemouth's going to be a little too much for this Everton defense. They're definitely going to score 1 or 2. And I think the big kind of hook here is Everton going to score? Because a bet I was looking at also was team total Bournemouth over 1.5, and that's at plus 120. I like that, but say it a little bit more. I think this is a week that Everton kind of comes back. I'm not saying they're going to light the world on fire, but I do think they put one in the back of the net. So give me the extra. Give me Everton to score as well. plus 145.
Yeah, and guys, honestly, I have a bet in this game too, and it's pretty much along the same track as Ryan. I have the over 2.5 goals at minus 120. And basically a lot of the same things that Ryan said. Everton's given up 7 goals in this early season, and the defense has been very dreadful, and Jordan Pickford's not helping it at all. He's making a ton of errors. So if he's not on his game, they're going to be, letting goals in left and right. And honestly, from Bournemouth, they're doing very well from an attacking standpoint. I think Semenyo and Tavernier have been very dynamic as midfielders, and I really love the striker signing of Evan Nielsen. I think he should probably play around 75 to 80 minutes this game, and I really like him. I watched him a lot in the Champions League, so I think he'll be a good signing for them. And then also, I think that just Bournemouth is the key to this match, right? They are overperforming on XG based on the amount of goals that they've scored. And then they're also they should be allowing more goals than they've let up per expected goals allowed. So I think that there's going to be opportunities for both teams in this match. Bournemouth have played wide open so far this year, and I think Everton will feed right into that. And there were also 3 goals apiece in both fixtures last year. So I like this game to go over.
I like it. Dr. Sniper, keep me rolling here. You got something on Ipswich Town.
Yes, Ipswich Town. They kind of got a rude welcome to the league, huh?
They sure did. Boy, oh boy. Talk about I'm sorry. I got to comment on it real quick.
Go ahead.
The Premier League schedule makers. What are you doing? Would you not want to try to drum up interest in the newly promoted teams rather than handing the 2 of the 3 big dogs in the league this is, I don't even know how to put this. The only way I can think of to put this, I don't want to say it because it's awful. I don't know. This is it's like throwing a baby seal to a polar bear.
And I hate that this was the team that they picked for these fixtures too, because we all know Kieran McKenna plays an open style of football, and it's fun to watch. So they've just basically had to pack it in and hold on for dear life against Liverpool in the opening match, then go into the Etihad for their second match. But, I think that this fixture for them, and guys, I didn't give my bet out, but it is going to be Ipswich Town at plus 115. And like I said, I think McKenna is going to be able to open up his football a little more like they played in the championship last year, and all the praise that he got and the interest from other clubs. So I think we're going to see some of that football this week, and I think that, obviously will play to their strengths. Then also Fulham's just not very strong away from Craven Cottage. They only won 4 games away from home last year, and one of those being a 1-0 opening week victory against Everton, and another one being the last match week of the year against Luton Town after they've already been relegated. So in my eyes, it's really only 2 road games last year that they won by merit. And I just think that Ipswich will be able to play their open style of ball. And Fulham, granted, they did play well this past weekend, but it was at Craven Cottage. And if you look back to match week 1, they got absolutely blasted by Manchester United on the expected goal margins. So I think that this is a good spot for Ipswich. I think they pull off an upset. But I'm going to take the pick'em just so I can have a little bit of insurance in case there's a draw.
Yeah, good stuff. Ryan, you've got something. I feel like you've done something with Aston Villa the first 3 weeks of the season now, but you've got some action coming out of the King Power at the weekend with Leicester and Aston Villa. Talk to me.
I did not bet them against Arsenal.
Oh, no, I guess you didn't bet them last week. Yeah,
I did bet. I'm pretty sure I bet in the first
West
week.
Ham, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have, again, I think this is a bet I like also. The team to win and team total over 1.5. I have 2 of these picks. The first one is Villa to win and over team total 1.5. It's at plus 105. They're playing Leicester City, and I just think Villa, they're a better team than who they play, Fulham and Tottenham. And I think, Tottenham kind of ran at Leicester. Leicester kind of didn't know what to do, and Leicester and Tottenham just couldn't put in the back of the net. I mean, that's on Tottenham there. And And Fulham, I think, is starting to kind of trying to find their flow, find what makes them tick, and obviously beat Leicester. But I think Villa are just better than both teams, and I think Villa are really looking to rebound against their game against Arsenal. And a player that everyone's talking about is Rodgers on Villa, playing alongside Ollie Watkins. I think they're going to run at Leicester City's center backs, who are
call
very
them Leicester
clumsy.
shitty?
Huh?
Did you just call them Leicester shitty?
No, I didn't. I said Leicester City. Must be my accent. But yeah, I think Rodgers is a really good player, and I think he's really coming into his own. I could see him and Watkins really doing some damage against these clumsy center backs. Leicester, that was their thing. Leicester, when they were last in the Premier League, they did okay in their attack, but their back four was just in shambles. They had injuries, but their center backs were always just making really boneheaded mistakes. And those same two center backs are who they have right now. And the David Luiz lookalike, I can never pronounce his name. Faze? I don't know. And he's just, he's David Luiz's ugly cousin. So yeah, I just think that Villa is going to be too much for this Leicester, and I do expect them to put at least 2 goals past this Leicester City team.
Nice one. Let's move it up to the northeast in St. James's Park, and we've got a lot of action coming out of here with Newcastle and Tottenham. Ryan, I'll leave it with you to get us started there.
Yeah, so Newcastle hasn't had the start that I would like as someone who put them in the top 4. But yeah, they haven't really started off well. They did beat Southampton 1-0, but Southampton, for me, the way they play, they don't belong in the Premier League. They're not. I don't see them being long for this Premier League world. And they lost. Well, I say lost. They should have lost 2-1 to Bournemouth, but the Bournemouth had a late goal disallowed that had them draw 1-1. And I think Tottenham are kind of firing. Their XG is 3.8. Newcastle's is 4. Both teams are just looking to score. They're always in the front foot. I know, Takuchi, who was so great to give us his presence, was telling us, because he is a Newcastle supporter, and he was telling us, how vulnerable and injured and suspended some of their players are. I think Tottenham will score a few. And I do think Newcastle will find the back of the net. They tend to do that. The over has hit in 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams. A lot of goals between these two teams whenever they face off. So the bet is over 3.5, and I got that at minus 110.
Dr. Sniper, you've got some action coming out of here too. Go for it.
Yeah, so this is another match where, Ryan and I are kind of piggybacking on each other. In this game, I'm going to be attacking the first half angle. I have Newcastle and Tottenham, first half over 1.5 goals. And you guys know the last few weeks I've been attacking the Tottenham first half money line because they seem to come out hot and kind of fade in the second half. But this week we're doing it a little different, and it is stat of the day time. In the last 8 meetings between these two teams, there have been at least 2 goals in the first half. Yes, you heard that right. 8 meetings in a row, there have been at least 2 goals in the first half. So this is the angle that I'm going to attack in this match. And a lot to what Ryan said, Newcastle's a little bit vulnerable in the back. Tottenham's a little bit vulnerable in the back. And I think their XG numbers on offense are going to be able to, provide 2 goals in the first half in this one. And if you look at these matches, Newcastle get into really good starts when they're playing at St. James Park against Tottenham. So I think that we could even maybe see like a 2-1 scoreline at halftime. But I think we definitely at least get to a 1-1 both teams scored type of deal, and we easily go over 1.5 in this first half.
Yeah, good stuff. We're going to keep it rolling there, Dr. Sniper, and we're going to move on to you've got some action coming out of the London Stadium, I believe, in the eastern part of the city with West Ham. Talk to me.
I do. This is as the gamblers like to call it, a hold your nose type of play. I have West Ham plus 1.5 at minus 125. This is a team that we talked very highly about on our preseason shows on this channel. If you missed, you want to go back and watch. But they have a lot of pieces that, I really like. And I think that being at home at the London Stadium is going to be crucial in this one. this is a team that has won the expected goals battle in both of their games to start the year, even with the 2-1 narrow loss to Aston Villa. The expected goals metrics actually was predictive that West Ham should have won that game. And I think the books are thinking this is going to be a higher scoring game with a total at 3.5. And I agree with that. If you look back at last season, both matches in the Premier League finished as 3-1 wins for Manchester City. But if you go and look at the match at the London Stadium, West Ham actually took a 1-0 lead into the half and just got completely obliterated in the second half. I think they are a little bit stronger this year and can withstand that Manchester City wave that can always come at you in a second half. So I've kind of actually got this one predicted as a 3-2 Manchester City victory, but I think that West Ham even have a chance to maybe walk out of there 2-2. But I think that they are going to feed Kudus and have some chances against City. And I think this will be a higher scoring game, and I think they'll be able to hang in it. So give me +1.5.
I like it. I don't like that 3-2 score line very much, but I like the confidence you're showing in giving Mohamed Kudus and Jared Bowen and Füllkrug. Just say it like it should be a Füllkrug. It's just fun to say. But
he's German, not Scottish, but okay. To each their own.
Hey, you let me do my own version of Sean Connery, all right, Füllkrug. Ryan, you are moving on to Anfield. No, they're not at home.
Oh, one last nugget I did. I left this out. This was in my notes. I do think that there's a decent chance that West Ham could score first again in this match like they did a year ago. If you want to sprinkle a little something, I've seen it out there. The books at like a +230 for West Ham to score first. So just throwing that out there in case you're interested.
Nice one. Little Northwest derby here. Two of the biggest clubs in London will go toe-to-toe at Old Trafford on Sunday. So not coming out of Anfield. You've got some action on Liverpool. What do you got?
Yes. So this is probably the first pick where me and Dr. Sniper are going to be kind of going at it a little bit. There are, now don't get me wrong, there's going to be a world, and it will be that world. We live in that world where both of our picks hit. But mine is Liverpool to win and team total over 1.5. That's at +100. I'll break it down a little bit, but I just think Liverpool are better everywhere. I think this battle is going to come down to the midfield, and Liverpool under Arne Slot have been a little more composed, calculated, winning both their games 2-0 comfortably, playing solid football. And I just think Man U has made some positive things happen for them this season so far, but they've also reverted back to some of their old tendencies, and I think their chaotic midfield is going to leave them with some problems. I think Liverpool know how to deal with chaos because they were chaos. Liverpool was chaos, especially in the midfield when they were under Klopp. They've had a little tutelage under Slot, and I think they're going to be a little more composed in that midfield. And I just think it does depend. I do think Man U putting Bruno Fernandes as their false nine is a huge mistake, and it kind of goes more into my neck of the woods than Dr. Sniper's. But yeah, I think the midfield game is going to be very important because both teams love playing in transition. I just think the calm and calculated team will prevail, and that is Liverpool. So yeah, give me Liverpool to win and a team total over 1.5.
Nice. That is going to move us right along. Before we hit picks of the week, any other tidbits we want to sprinkle on any of these games here? Anything else that kind of jumped out at you guys? You want to give maybe an honorable mention to something that you thought about, but maybe you didn't put on your betting card for the weekend?
Yeah.
I also just realized that I never decided what my pick of the week was going to be. So
your pick can be the chat pick of the week.
So do me a favor, vamp for a minute so I can look at it and figure it out.
I kind of said this when I talked about the Bournemouth-Everton game. I think something to look at if you don't think Everton's going to score and you're worried about Everton scoring, I think Bournemouth over 1.5 at plus 120 is a good bet. I know both of their games ended 1-1 for Bournemouth. I don't see this happening 3 times in a row. I do think they get that second goal because, in both their games, a goal was disallowed from them. So I think they get over the hump, they get the goal. And a stat that I didn't use to further my pick of both teams to score no draw is that there has been no draw in the last 8 meetings between Everton and Bournemouth.
Nice. Dr. Sniper, you wanna sprinkle anything else in here?
Yeah, I kind of dabbled in some player props on the side. I was texting with Ryan about it last week, and it was a little bit of fun. So it might be something that I start attacking on this show, maybe in the future, just doing a couple of tests on the side. But if I were to be looking at them this week, I would be narrowed in on St. James Park. I think that this is probably the match that Isak gets on the scorebooks and gets his goal. I'm not sure what the odds are at now, but I would definitely take a look at that. And then on the other side, James Maddison. I mean, as much as I hate to give anybody on that team credit, being an Arsenal fan, he's been a pretty big maestro to start this year and has recorded assists in both of those games. So I'll be looking at his assist numbers as well.
Nice, right on. We'll move on to our picks of the week. I'm going to throw the graphic back up here. As I said before, you guys are both 2-0, so we're giving 3 points for a win on the pick of the week. Nothing for a loss. You'll get 1 point for a push if that does happen to come up, but I kind of feel like I'm not sure we're really going to see that too much this season, if at all. So Ars Bros, Ryan, and Dr. 3-Point Sniper are currently leading the way. And I in the chat are sitting 500, the mushy middle. We're both 1-1. We've got 3 points, and it is simply sitting in alphabetical order there. It's the only reason that I have that up there. I will throw out my pick of the week right off the hop here. I am going to take much the way that Dr. Sniper was talking about West Ham taking the over 1.5 there. I don't think that City are as strong defensively, at least not right now anyways, perhaps what they've been in recent seasons. West Ham, I do like their attack a lot. Again, Fulkrug, Jared Bowen, Mohamed Kudus, Lucas Paqueta, these guys, we've talked about it, a lot on this show and on the Loose Cannons recap show with West Ham that there's just something that there's something about the attack for this West Ham side that I think they're going to be in just about every game they play. I like West Ham, Manchester City at the London Stadium, both teams to score, no draw, and I'm gonna take that at plus 110. So for those bearded fans out there, we are going to look to get back on the winning track this week with both teams to score no draw at the London Stadium, West Ham, Manchester City. And I'm going to get that at plus 110. Ryan, I'll go to you for your pick of the week. And you're coming out of another game that I'm very interested in, Chelsea and Crystal Palace, another London derby here to get us going early in the season. What do you got?
I will say really quick to your loss of the under Chelsea Wolves game. I don't know how the chat feels. I don't know how you two feel, but to me, if I'm going to lose, I want to get blown out. The under is 3. I got blown out. Or I think you took 2.5. And I think Takuchi took under.
It was I took the under on 2. Yeah, we both took the under on 2.5.
But like, yeah, you had no shot. So it was like, you know what? Okay, good. I don't have to sweat this one out, or or sit on pins and needles. But yeah.
And I was on the good end of that misfortune for BG though, because I had Chelsea money line as my pick of the week. So
yes. But yeah, that's a
6
way.
goals when you have a money line bet for a pick of the week feels pretty damn good.
But yeah, so my pick of the week, another my favorite little bet. I have Chelsea Crystal Palace, both teams to score no draw at plus 115. These teams have met 24 times. Guess how many times they've drew? 0. They've never drawn. And And another thing I noticed, which was
My rival for stat of the day.
it might.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was very interesting, and I do love the chat, but I don't want to discourage them because you know what? I love the chat, but I know a few people were typing in Crystal Palace money line. Chelsea's won the last 14 meetings. So that was another stat where I was like,
Wow.
"Ooh, you know what?
Really?
I don't.
They've ran the double 7 years in a row.
That's crazy.
So I was really, really like I was digging. I see these two stats. I'm digging. I'm burrowing. I'm going crazy. I'm like, what do we need here? So one thing I looked at, and it's definitely it's a good one. I was looking at Chelsea over 2.5 at plus 155. I was like, I like that. But I think what's for me a more reliable thing is I do think Palace will score. They scored in both meetings last season. Their XG is 2.9, so they're looking. Crystal Palace just need to find the back of the net. Playing that West Ham team, they had a lot of good chances that were just hitting the side of the net. They had some good looks, but they just couldn't put it away. And Chelsea's giving up 2.9. So actually, no, excuse me, 3. It bumped up to 3. So I just think this is going to be an interesting back and forth game. I do lean the way of Chelsea, but I didn't take that. So I'm rooting for Palace. Don't get me wrong. I love Palace. I love that's if I had to pick a favorite kit, I think it's just that a Palace home kit. I every year, I think year in and year out, I tend to fall in love with and I gravitate towards. But yeah, I think the XG4 and the XG conceded are just they're screaming that this game is just there's going to be goals in this game, and I'm going with my heart here, and I'm going with my heart that says 24 meetings, 0 draws. So yeah, give me Crystal Palace, Chelsea, both to score, no draw.
I like that. I got to tell you, it's one thing to hear you say they've beaten them 14 in a row, but Dr. Sniper, when you hit with they've done the double 7 years in a row, that I don't know, that hit different. It's like, wow. And here's the crazy thing. I mean, Chelsea have been since the Bowley purchase, they just haven't been Chelsea. They just haven't been. And that is absolutely stunning to me that Palace have not at least gotten a draw somewhere against this team in the last 3 years, maybe. So look at Ryan coming with I'm going to give Ryan the vote for stat of the day here. I'm giving Ryan the vote for stat of the day. That is absolutely incredible.
I think it's warranted.
Yeah, so for anyone that cares, the last time Palace overtook Chelsea, it was October 14th, 2017. Palace won 2-1 with listen to this. Guess who's one of the goals, obviously Zaha, but
for Zaha.
And then a nice Azpilicueta own goal. I do miss those because he scored quite a few.
Who's the goal scorer for Chelsea
against Chelsea? Bakayoko. So yeah, it's weird when you're looking at the thing. You're looking at Victor Moses, David Zappacosta, Willian, Michy Batshuayi. You're like, oh, these guys, yeah.
Who went on to play for Crystal Palace for 2 years?
Chelsea.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, is there any news on Mark Gahey on a move this week? Because he might not even be playing in that match.
Yeah,
so that would be even better for your total.
Not seen anything recently on anything more with him moving to Newcastle. So,
was it Crystal that made the move for LaCroix today, the center back from Germany? Didn't he play at Werder Bremen?
I did not. I didn't even see anything about that.
Got me beat. Too busy digging for these amazing stats.
I think they made a move for center back, so I would expect that he might be that game might be on the move this week. So. If so, that makes your bet even stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, really, I do think that my bet hinges on Palace to score. I do, and I think people say oh, Palace didn't really have a chance against West Ham, but I don't know, man. That first half, Palace had a lot of good opportunities. I think they're still trying to find, what clicks for them. Losing a really big piece in Elise, I think you really have to kind of adapt. And I think Chelsea is a good match. I mean, and you look at their game against the Wolves last week. The Wolves out XG'd them, and for people that don't really buy into that, I mean, it's a stat, it's a thing. You can lean into it if you want, but they were expected to score more goals than Chelsea. But Chelsea put 6 past the Wolves. But the Wolves did end up managing scoring too. And I know, Sniper, you're really low on this Wolves team, and as am I. And if the Wolves can score too, like I do think Palace, can definitely find something. And who knows? They may have a piece. And, I did say this last week with Nottingham Forest doing something with Eddie Nketiah, but I think I can now say maybe, but I'm going to jinx it again for the second week in a row. I think maybe Eddie Nketiah does something for Crystal Palace. Maybe Eddie Nketiah wins us this bet with a sweet goal.
Oh my God.
Coming off the bench. That would be kind of electric.
Comes off the bench and beats Chelsea. Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
He has scored against Chelsea before, so
do I run out and buy a Crystal Palace Eddie Nketiah?
You got to brace
that happens.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he does play Chelsea well when he does play. So I mean, I don't know. I that's the one thing. That's why I kind of said also, like, you could even look at over Chelsea 2.5 if you're really not confident in Palace scoring. But yeah, no, I believe this Palace team, much like the Everton we talked about Everton too. I do think this Palace team is gonna kind of, I'm not saying not win outright, but I think they're gonna make a name for themselves in this game and make it somewhat competitive, at least early on.
I think you might be in trouble if Daniel Mahoney's comment is accurate and they send 7 keepers out there.
Get out of my head. Get out of my head, Doc.
Maybe.
Get out of my head, man. I was just going to be like, yeah, they're only going to start 4 outfield players. You just put 7 dudes in front of the net, and we'll just see what happens. They'll still concede 2.
I just need them to concede 1. I just need literally them to concede 1. That's it. Right. It's like 1 goal for Palace. That's nice. That's it. Hopefully Eddie in stoppage time, make me a happy boy.
Doc, you want to move back up to Old Trafford and talk about the action you've got for your pick of the week coming out of there?
Yes, I do. And hate to go against Ryan, but we just have differing opinions on this game.
But again, I stress this, and I know like maybe our analysis is going to like sound very opposing and different, but we can both win. We're not going money line against money line. Nothing where one of us has to win, one of us has to lose.
I don't think we can both win on this one. What was your bet?
Oh, I thought you were plus.
No,
never mind. You're actually right. Yeah. Okay. I lied. Forget everything I just said except for my picks. Yeah, it's bet against bet. I forgot.
I'm looking at the bets right now.
I can't do the math.
You've got to explain to me why you both can't win this bet, because I'm looking at it right now.
Well, Doctor, the floor is yours.
Liverpool to win, and if Liverpool wins, then my bet's not hitting.
Wait, say it again.
Yeah. I thought
Ryan plus Liverpool to win, and if Liverpool wins, then my bet will not hit.
Yeah.
Okay. I may have not written up the graphic right, because that's what I'm looking at.
I could have swore it was plus 1.5, but you're right. It is plus 0.5. So yeah.
No, it's plus 0.5. The graphics right.
I guess you're in trouble then. What do you want me to tell you? You're in trouble.
But chat. My pick of the week is Manchester United plus half a goal. Got that at even odds. If you look back last year, it was United's worst ever finish in the Premier League, but yet they still continued to play Liverpool tough, as they always do. They drew both games in the league, and they beat them in the FA Cup. And as much as things aren't rosy at United right now, I think we're starting to see a little bit of cracks in this new Liverpool regime that we kind of had the blanket pulled over our eyes a little bit on. Seems like the players are not as in love with Slot as they kind of pretended to be. We saw him and Trent Alexander-Arnold get into a little spat on the bench mid-game last time out. Yes, they did.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. No, we didn't.
Yes, they did. He pulled Trent off in the 70th minute, and so he obviously didn't like that. So there's some things going on there. The whole Nunez situation. There's just a lot of moving pieces right now, and like I said, Trent's in a walk here, so he may be completely checked out here soon. So you've got that going on, and then you also have United playing at Old Trafford, which when you get a good United performance, it usually comes at Old Trafford, just as it did in the opener this season. I think that was one of the more impressive matches that I've watched so far this year. I know they only won the game 1-0, but the XG disparity in that game was massive. They had 2.24 expected goals against Fulham and only 0.48 goals expected allowed. So it was a pretty dominant performance. And yes, they did lose at the Amex on the road last week, but I think a lot of big teams are going to do that this year. I think Brighton's just a really good team. So I'm not going to really fault them too much for that. And the expected goals analytics are pretty much had that as an even game. And, Brighton's winner came late, so they could have easily walked away with the draw. But where I really think that United's going to be dangerous, and this is kind of where I differ with Ryan a little bit in the analysis, is I do think that Bruno Fernandes is going to be a problem through the middle in this game. I'm not in love with Liverpool's ability to defend in the midfield through the middle right now. I just think that McAllister gets, spread too thin, and he's just not that stocky breakup play holding midfielder that they really need. And Bruno, if you take a look at his season so far, the finishing product hasn't been there, but he's been, play creator, and he honestly should have had 2 goals against Fulham, but kicked him right at Leno. Hopefully, he doesn't do that this match. And then another key area is I really love the new signing of Mazraoui as an outside back. And I think Dalot has played, some of the best ball that we've seen at United the last 2 years. So when they have, these 2 guys playing, very well on the outside, I think that kind of stifles a little bit of what Liverpool likes to do. I don't think it's going to be as easy for Salah and Diaz and all of those guys to, enjoy their time out wide as they do against some other teams. So I think United kind of has that feather in their cap. And it's just pretty simple for me. I think that United gets a result in this game, whether it be a draw or a win. So I'll take plus half a goal at even odds.
What's crazy too is I don't hate your analysis. I think a big factor in this game, I think my X factor for this game in determining how I guess confident I feel with my pick is where Bruno Fernandes is going to play. If he plays in that false 9 that they've been playing him in for 2 games, I'm sorry. I think that L is gonna that zero column that you have, that where the L is, it's gonna be a 1. I'm very confused as to why they want to put Bruno Fernandes as a 9. It doesn't make sense. He can create. He could do a lot of interesting work. Like you said, I don't believe McAllister. They have him more as like a 6, 8. I don't think that's it. I don't know
what he's doing.
I don't. And I think Bruno Fernandes should be somebody in that midfield taking advantage of that. And that's my one thing that I was a little nervous about in this pick. But I just think United are going to United. And sometimes it's, you look at stats, and I think we've all today have given a lot of stats and a lot of numbers. And yeah, it's only 2 weeks in, but numbers are numbers. And sometimes you just got to go with just United are going to United. And that's kind of what at the end of the day, sorry, Mr. Doctor, Mr. Sniper, whatever you like to be called. But, I just.
How about Dr. Brother Sniper?
Dr. Brother Sniper, yeah. And it's funny because where I agree that I think Liverpool having some early on trouble with the slot, how, the Alexander-Arnold thing is troubling. How many players on United are in for Ten Hag? I don't know. I'm not going to say a lot or not a lot, but it's both managers are going to have an interesting season trying to wrangle their players to play for them.
One point I didn't bring up, and it's with Bruno in the false 9, if that is where he is. One thing that's going a little bit unnoticed is how well United are pressing with Fernandes as the false 9 and Mount at the 10. They're pressing really well, and it's causing teams to turn the ball over. So that's another area where I kind of like him being in that false 9. And like I said, he played so well in that role against Fulham in the opening match. He just did not convert on those, one-on-ones with Leno. But I don't know. I just have it's kind of a gut feeling too, but I'm kind of going with the XG numbers from the first game at Old Trafford. I just think that United plays well at home in this one. At least walks away with a draw.
All right. Doc, you want to throw out the chat pick? Let's
Yeah,
get
so
into the
the,
win generator. And
Yeah, guys, as another reminder, if you're just joining us late, we're doing a season-long competition where you guys are going to comment your favorite pick of the week during the live chat, and then we do a random drawing to see what the chat pick of the week will be, and that will be battling against the three of us on our picks of the week, and we have a points table, and whoever walks away champion at the end of the year is going to go home with a kit from this season. So continue to watch these shows live and put your picks in the chat, because you never know when yours would be drawn, and give your you and your friends in the chat the best chance to win. But this week, the chat pick of the week is going to be Manchester City money line, and that was submitted by Daniel Mahoney.
Oh, get out of here!
yeah,
I will say though, the reason why I don't hate this is because we can hit my bet, BG's bet, and the chat pick of the week. We can hit all three, even though they're completely different.
true.
Chad is getting a leg up. I don't know how I feel about it. What's the odds of that? Is it -2?
It's not crazy. I don't think it's crazy because they're on the road. Let me pull it up.
I think it's like -240. Does that sound right? May have to put some
-240.
Might put some limitations going forward on this chat pick.
Get away with it this week. We did have a -200 stipulation.
You know what? I changed my mind. My pick of the week is Man City over half a goal. What is that? Minus 1,500?
I hope you lose. I hope you lose.
Yeah. Honestly, me too. I hope I lose too.
We did give the stipulation that we needed to cap it at -200, but if it's -240, we'll give it to them.
No, we'll let them have this. They got to play catch up to me and you anyway.
But yeah, so Manchester City for the chat. That should be one that you guys feel good about going into this weekend. So I hope you lose, but there you go.
Yeah. We certainly hope you lose for a multitude of reasons, and the most important one is for the sake of the Arsenal. That's why I hope you lose. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Let's we'll throw up here the graphics for. We'll start here. So overall, let me get the banner out of the way there. So this is overall on all of the picks. This is overall. They're both 8-2. Ryan coming in a little bit better than Doc at +7.2 units. Doc coming in at +6.1 units, but both very, very successful start to this new campaign there, boys. So job well done on that front. Let's get to Doc. I'll throw your picks up there first if you just want to roll through real quick and just recap everything one more time.
Yeah, so we got the over in Bournemouth and Everton, over 2.5. That's at -120. And then we move along to Ipswich Town, Pickham, and that's at +115. And then we like the first half over at St. James Park with Newcastle and Tottenham. That's at -105. We like West Ham to make it a little bit of a match against Manchester City at +1.5 at -125. And again, my pick of the week is Manchester United plus half a goal. So they either need to draw or win the game for that bet to hit, and that is at +100.
Nice. Well done. Ryan, likewise, we'll throw you up here and talk to us. Just recap everything briefly.
Yeah, so I kind of want to call this the R-Spur Ryan special, but I don't know. I mean, I have two very similar picks both ways of Everton, Bournemouth, both teams to score no draw, and the team winning and the team total over 1.5. But real quick, it's Everton and Bournemouth, both teams to score no draw, +145. I love the pluses. I love the plus signs. It's doing me good things, especially as far as units go. Villa with the win and team total over 1.5 at +105. Newcastle and Tottenham over 3.5. And Liverpool win, team total over 1.5 at +100. That one, it's, I will say, having an opposite pick to Dr. Sniper, I'm glad it's going to happen at the very end, the last game of the week. It's going to be nice. And then
we're both just sitting there undefeated, and it'll just be one.
It's just going to end that one pick. And then my pick of the week is Chelsea, Crystal Palace. Both teams score, no draw, plus 115. And yeah, if any of you sickos in the chat wanna bet draw on this game, go for it. I dare you.
As a famous person once said, they're due.
Yeah.
I'll recap my pick of the week for you guys. I don't have a graphic for it. It's one pick, but I've got West Ham and Manchester City. Both teams have scored no draw at the London Stadium this weekend. That's the late game on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, and you're going to get that at plus 110. Both teams to score no draw. So I do believe we've all got some action there, and I think, like Doc said, we can pretty much all hit our bet there. But let's hope not. Let's hope that the chat doesn't capitalize on that one. So, boys, I'm going to give you a final word. Doc, I'll start with you if you've got anything you want to add here before we wrap up. It's been a nice, concise show. I think we're getting into a groove nicely here, fellas.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just excited for this weekend. And just a reminder, guys, the international break's coming up after this weekend. It's annoying as hell that it's already coming quickly, especially with all of the tournaments that we had this summer for international ball. But yeah, just enjoy this weekend while you can, because it's going to be a little bit of a break in between action.
It's going to be a rough one. Yeah. Ryan, final thought, final word.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta do it. I guess, well, it's more to come. My new little segment, my little brag corner. My pick, West Ham over 1.5. It was, for those who tailed, it was so thrilling. 2 goals within 5 minutes of each other, 67th minute and 72nd minute. Jared Bowen getting a second goal, me screaming Jared Bowen in my household, pissing my wife off, but it was definitely worth it. I think the whole block heard me. That was the best. I want to say that was probably the best I felt watching a football match that wasn't Arsenal. That was just, I was happy when they scored first, and then watching that second goal unfold, in transition on the counter, it was chef's kiss. It was wonderful. So I'm going to give myself a nice little pat on the back for that one.
Hopefully you're screaming Jared fucking Bowen again this week.
Yeah. I don't have a horse in that race, a dog or anything. Maybe a little Jared Bowen anytime goal. Who knows? I think I owe it to the chat. I owe it to you guys. I owe it to the show to stick my feet into this game somehow, some way. So if I have any extra plays, I will be sure to tweet them out.
Go big or go home, boys. Jared Bowen hat trick plus 20,000. Let's fucking go. Lock it in right now. No. Joking. Absolutely.
Kind of gonna look at that right now.
I'm like, ooh, what? Jared Bowen hat trick. Let's see.
I think the only big match that we didn't really touch on with our bets this week is the Arsenal match with Brighton. What are your thoughts on this weekend, in case the chat wants to maybe throw some money at that game? What are your thoughts?
Ryan, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
It's all yours. Floor is yours. I'm looking at Jared Bowen anytime right now.
Brighton. I don't think I'm worried that Brighton win the game. I would be a little worried that they could somehow nick a draw. We seem to be much more sound defensively at the back. Jesus, like from the Department of Redundancy department over here. We seem to be much more solid, tight, at the back. On the road, we do tend to concede. At home, I like what Brighton are doing in general right now, just the building of the squad, the way that they're playing. Young manager, new ideas, fresh ideas, and they're going for it right now. Off the heels of a last-minute winner against United at home, they come in here, they could give us fits. Sit back, hit on the counter against us. I don't think they're going to come at us, but that would be the only thing that would really concern me. And I'm going to touch wood because I don't want to jinx it. And I hate that you made me even talk about it, you some bitch.
Hey, It's not
But-
bet related. I was just
but-
asking you to get your thoughts.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to predict anything, but I would say it should be a good match. I think it'll be a good match. Brighton,
I
give me a little bit of pause, but not a great deal.
I will say though, when I was researching my bets for this week and looking at all the odds that the bookmakers put out, I thought that they put a pretty heavy price on Arsenal. I think we're at like minus 330 money line, and our spread is minus a goal and a half. I thought that they would be giving Brighton a little bit more respect than that from the way that they've looked so far this year. And I was telling Ryan off camera, I'm still super impressed with Brighton. I bet them to finish top 10 this year, and they've just continued to make me look good with that bet. But yeah, I'm kind of puzzled as to why we're such a big of a favorite as we are. I guess it goes back to what you said about our record at the Emirates the last few years and our defense and just keeping clean sheets every time we play there. But yeah, it was kind of puzzling to me. And they had I think they had the total at like 3.5. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but like I said, I'm not touching it. I'm just going to enjoy it as a Gooner.
I'm going to try to enjoy it waking up at 7:30 in the morning. How much do you expect me to be able to actually enjoy it at that godforsaken hour?
Terrible.
Anyway, Ryan, any thoughts on our boys?
Yeah, I mean, I quickly looked. 2 picks I'm going to give. Not going to be on my card, but Kai Havertz anytime goal. He scored in each game we played against them. It's at plus 125. And Brighton under half a goal at plus 110. This is a weak Brighton team, much weaker than what we've played against last season. They're under a new manager. I know they started off really strong. They beat an Everton team that, they're relegation talk, and they beat a Man U team that I know Dr. Sniper's a little high on them, but I'm not. I think Brighton is just Man U's boogeyman. I just think Brighton know how to play Man U. It's just one of those. It's just one of those, styles make fights, and I just think Brighton's just a bad match for Man U, and just Man U has a tough time playing against Brighton. But I don't think we will. I think those are two picks that I like really well, but again, probably will not be on my card.
Interesting. I don't think they're as bad as I'm not as down on them as what you are.
I'm pretty high on Brighton.
I think Brighton have a chance to finish top 10.
Yeah, but people were talking about them being in the Europa League and stuff. I don't see that
I think they'll hang around if they can continue this run. And I think the new manager, young, energetic. I don't know. I just kind of feel like they've got an energy to them that will keep them in that conversation most of this. I'm not saying they'll finish there, but I think they'll be around it. I definitely.
So the thing with high energy managers that are exciting early on, they tend to die out because they tend to lose. Once they lose the dressing room, it's done. I think when you have someone who's a little more tactically astute, which I don't know if I've seen it yet with Brighton, but they are weaker. I mean, 2 years ago when they had players like Evan Ferguson coming into the mix, Mitoma is still kind of doing it, but he wasn't doing it like he was last year. Relying on Danny Welbeck, who, let's face it, I love that guy, but he's had a really strong start this season. I don't know if I expect him to continue, as well as he's done. And again, and I think I said this to 3-Point Sniper in the groom. A Danny Welbeck Brighton kid is on my wish list. So, who knows? If I win this pick of the week.
Game on. Game on.
Little that guy kid. That'd be nice.
All right, boys. That's it. That is it for us. We've recapped everything. I will shout out the chat. Bronx Gunner jumping in there. Daniel Mahoney, John David Shepper. Gabriel Carlson, as always, jumping in with good content. Stuart Kennemore, and there was a love fest in here. You guys were flirting with each other nonstop. Seatbelts and condoms, fellas. They save lives. Think that's pretty much it. I got everybody. Kevin is 1987. I'm scrolling back up here. Matt Scaffa, thank you guys for being there. As always, drop a thumbs up on the video if you would, please. make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you are not already, tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell a family member. We would love to be able to grow this channel, and get maybe some sponsorships going. Be the official, or having an official sports book as a sponsor for us. We'd love to get there. So, subscribing to the channel will help that cause. And once you're subscribed, click the bell icon. That way, you never ever miss an episode. That is it for us. We're going to take a break. Well, are we taking a break next week, fellas, with the international break? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we won't be back next week. Loose Cannons will be on the air tomorrow. Loose Cannons will be back next week as well. So stay tuned for that. We will be back with EPL Pitch Picks in 2 weeks after the international break. It has been good footy talk, everyone. We'll see you out there.